Alright, and we're back. Silver ashes at his feet. The swirling aroma enshrouds the young man and the enemy like smoke.
やあ、どこの何かは聞かないけど、こんばんは。こんな夜更けに大勢で出かけるなんて、何か大きな催し物でもあるのかな。
The boy stays exceedingly calm. In spite of the outpouring of creatures from the underworld rushing towards him, there is not a trace of timidity in him. Instead, his innocent visage resembling that of an angel.
ま、どんなイベントだろうと興味はないんだけど。それよりリーダーはみんなだよね。どいつもこいつも測ったように同じ顔だし。困ったな。こういうのってリーダーが責任を取るものでしょ。群れ全体の失態は頭をすげ替えることで解決するものなんだけど。
Some sort of ecological shift appears to take place. Having nothing but a simple objective in mind, the creatures are rapidly unifying around them. First and foremost, for their one common goal. Their instincts tell them that in order to take over the tower up ahead, they need to concentrate the violence here. And second,
全員がリーダーなら仕方がない。面倒だけど、君たちみんなに責任を取ってもらおう。
and second, for the first time since their inception, they have begun to feel terrified of the enemy in front of them. The corpses stare amongst themselves, yet more of them gather around the boy, encircling him ever so tightly. The central park is filled to the brim with corpses. The wasteland, which was the last battleground of the Holy Grail War 10 years ago, turns into hell once more.
一匹見たらなんとやらってやつかな。あのアーチャーとマスターはよくやってるけど、相手の太刀が悪かったか。まったく、お前たちは兵というより病気の類だ。一ついれば際限なく増えるなんて、僕の一番嫌いなものじゃないか。
The swarm accumulates into a mountain, striving to crush the boy from all sides. Once they swallow him, that will be the end of it. This unidentified being is still only a minor obstacle to them. They are the side of the invaders that will not change. Still, if it's an invasion, shouldn't occupying the tower be their final goal? The situation in Shinto is completely different from Miyama. While there were well over 1,000 corpses to reach Shinto, it's still a relatively small number. In which case, shouldn't they be heading straight towards the tower or not?
ここに来ちゃった理由がわからない？虫にはこれが上等でね。ほんと、反言の子に誘われてよく集まる。お前たちには過ぎた贅沢だけど、今夜は無礼講だし、遠慮は不要だよ。ああ、お前たちが地獄を歌うというのなら。
A wicked grin spreads across his face. Elation and derision mixed together. A mountain of corpses towers overhead. Judgment is passed there and then. Like the passing of a squall, the invaders turn into endless scattershot and rush towards him, tearing him to pieces.
良い開幕だ。死に物狂いで歌え雑念。
Oh, so he aged himself back up. It's all to weed out the sin. A storm even greater than the Dark Invaders, the Golden Annihilator has descended. All forms of calamity that deny life, no, deny existence itself, gather in a rowdy mass before the king. Overwhelming truth befalls the corpses screaming hell.
出番だエア。お前とて不本意だろうが。何？これも先達としての務めよ。真実を知る者として一つ享受してやるがいい。
Obeying its master, the Sword of Rupture roars to life. This itself is the origin of all lands of the dead, the first memory of life. They scream hell, then it creates hell. Before heaven and earth split, this land was made from lava and gas, a hell of both scorching heat and intense cold. This savagery was never recorded in the history that was passed on, but it was written in the genes and seen. That's right. Hell is where all life is not tolerated, the original form of this magnanimous planet.
夜道を開く存分に歌え亡者ども何退屈はさせん俺とてこのような気まぐれは一生に一度あるかないかでな財の出し惜しみはせん夜明けまで命を賭して持ちこたえよ
The eye of the storm is in the center of windless tranquility, but a rift leading to hell itself. The corpses that had set foot in this realm plummet back into the nothingness from which they came. How could one expect the likes of the whales of the damned to stand up to the truth borne by the King of Heroes himself? The great army of corpses that had formed Shinto is thus destroyed. This cannot be called battle. It is the wrath of nature itself. The distant thunder is without end, and the storm continues opening the path to the underworld. The swarm that landed in Shinto is mopped up by a one-man army. It's a shame that the servant never planned to destroy those creatures from the start. He attacks the swarm, but he shows not one bit of interest in the small scuttling towards the tower. This one man's army objective is not to defend the tower, but rather to exterminate the irritating and noisy pests. He pays no attention to the lucky ones, creatures that beat the 1 in 1,000 odds to escape the raging storm and head downtown. And as you might expect, these not lucky enemies are still innumerable. If even one of them manages to reach the tower, the corpses will be permitted to exist. That is the greatest weapon. Thus ends the interlude. The innumerable army, whose overwhelming force should have guaranteed an unquestionable victory, finally breaks down to single units. Nevertheless, they are finally at their destination, the stairs leading to the moon. Our last move. One last move. All they have to do is reach out and crawl up the wall. With that, everything will be brought to completion. Hurry, hurry, hurry! Rushing along the midnight streets, they struggle to keep the tower in their view. Looking at its peak, happiness starts spreading across the resentment-filled hearts. That is the joy of the definite victory. The relief of surviving to the end. It doesn't matter how long or how far the traitor advances. Once they are here, the creatures will climb the steps and welcome the new corpse. However, the thousands of creatures that have penetrated all defenses in their path tilt their heads in confusion. They have already arrived. By now, their malice should have already bathed in the tower in crimson red. Yet it remains solid black as it always has been. The only red is crawling on the ground, scattered around the tower. The stampeding corpses stop. A silent whirlwind envelops the tower. There is no entry but the front door. Oh, Saber? Saber? The swarm stands completely still in front of its majesty. O numerous corpse, look yonder and prepare thyselves. Thou bearest witness to the beauty of a dazzling sword, the embodiment of an untainted ideal, wrapped in an armor of azure and silver. Here. The true guardian stands, the absolute final defense. Enveloping this tower in an invisible shield is the wind of mystery, the sheath of her holy sword. The soldiers that made it start squeaking in excitement. There's only one way they have left. No, actually, from the very beginning, there's been no other way for these creatures. The corpses are now a swarm. They move on to the obstacle ahead of them. Instinct tells them there's nothing but defeat waiting for them, but aggression is what defines them.
貴様らが何者であるか、是非は問わぬ。
The knight does not move. There's not a trace of impurity in her shining sword. It is not the heavens her gaze is directed to, but to the corpses in front of her.
立ち去れとは言わん。ここは我が主の望みにして、我が信念を叶える場所。その怨嗟が、この希望を望まぬというのであれば、 互いの立場は明確だ。
Her flowing voice is fierce yet calm. No one can possibly know just how much emotion was put into those words. Just like how he did not bid farewell to her, she keeps it concealed in her heart.
ここは未来を重んじる者のみがいたらはしごだ。私にも貴様らにも踏み入る余地はない。それを傲慢と呪うのならば、
No room for hesitation. He is not the only one lowering the curtain. Everyone who gathered and fought on this night, for the sake of the future they wish for, they discard this illusion.
いざ視力を尽くして来るがいい。この剣にかけて貴様らの挑戦に応えよう。
The golden light drives back the encroaching black pollution. Those who walk the sky may never know of the stars glittering on Earth. With this, the interlude comes to an end. Albeit quivering dark red still looms over the town, bright sun rays will surely dispel the darkness in the end. There are no more stargazers left among those fighting on the ground. Their wills, meetings, and partings will all end on this night. And now, one whose heart has long since fulfilled its role watches over the sluggish end of the reproduction that took place in this boundary field. There's nothing left to say. A shining upside-down comet shoots towards the outside. He sees off the spider's thread, unreliable and frail, yet which managed to reach all the way to the very end. Dawn approaches. Like that, the path continues even now. I do not fear for my crumbling limbs. The only thing that frightens me is losing sight of those pieces I yearned for. I don't want to lose the light and return to the monster that I was. Now then, time to go grant a single wish in exchange for her dream. Thus I return to this place, an empty place, the outside of the world which does not allow any being to exist or think as I'm doing right now. In my infinitely vast yet consequently small nostalgic home, neither time nor space can exist. However, now there seems to be something like coordinates here. Since I exist here like this, it's natural for there to be a special positions. Those coordinates connect 2 points of light. The horizon exists, relying on the entrance and exit of the void. Take a step forward. The scene in front of my eyes makes my heart ache. The thing I must destroy. A one-time only miraculous mistake. The Holy Grail, with only one blank space left within it. The last spectator standing in front of the crystallization of the ordinary days born in this void. The contractor of the Holy Grail. The only human who continues to sleep in this place. As an enemy sharing the same wish yet hoping for a different result, she is protecting this Holy Grail.
よう、こっちの姿だと初めましてかな。元気そうで何よりだ。
I raised my hand without getting any closer. This is as close as we're going to get to each other. That's due to the emotional distance which already separates us.
止まりなさい、アベンジャー。 それ以上進めばあなたを殺します。
And there is also the physical problem of being killed if I go any closer.
そりゃ困る。俺がこの体でここに来たらもう戻れない。このまま二人でずっとにらめっこをするか、また殺されて下に戻るかしかないんだな。
ならここで殺すまでです。私の聖杯戦争においてあなたはもう取り込んだ。私は私で好きにやります。あなたはその体で望みを叶え続ければいい。
Ah, so that was your aim. Since I'm not getting involved with the winner of the Fifth Holy Grail War, don't get involved in my battle either. That's what she's proposing.
どちらにしても殺すわけか。そりゃ今までポンポン死んでたけどさ、いい加減蘇生回数も品切れだろって怖くならない？
なりません。この聖杯に空白がある限り、あなたは何度でも蘇る。まだ見ぬ展開、まだ見ぬ未知こそがあなたの原動力だ。このまま地上に戻って二度とここへ訪れなければ永遠に続けられる。そう、永遠に続けられるのにどうして？
Her reddish brown eyes show her irritation. Leave this place. If you don't leave here, I will just remove you by force. Her unwavering hostility conveys that as it assails me.
参ったな。やり合わなきゃ引いてくれないか？
あなたこそ一度殺されなければわかりませんか？
げえ、汚ねえな。俺あんたとは戦えないのに。こんなことならやっぱり霊樹にしてもらうんだった。
その口ぶりではまだ諦めていないようですね。アベンジャー、私にはあなたの考えがわからない。たとえ同じことの繰り返しでも、ここなら私たちは生きていられる。私たちが願った通りの現実がある。なのにどうして自分で自分を殺すような真似をするのです？
そりゃあんただけだ。俺はそもそも無だからな。生きるも死ぬも関係ない。
同じことです。私もあなたもこの願いが終われば消えてなくなってしまう。私は嫌だ。死にたくなんてない。外の世界なんてどうでもいい。あなただって元の無になんか戻りたくないでしょ。
The holy girl rumbles. Her feelings are a form of impact in themselves. Half of this place is hers. Even though I'm the driving force that keeps the holy grail spinning, she has the advantage when it comes to power. I lost the ability to destroy the holy grail with brute force a long time ago. There's only one way to stop this wish. She who refuses to let it stop, and my heart which in truth wants to agree with her. I have to lower the curtains completely on both of those.
そりゃあ俺だってもう少しぐらいは続けたい。けどさ、間違ったことは正さないと気が済まないんだ。この願いは間違ってるだろ。だから止めないと。俺は正義の味方だからな。自分のことよりどうでもいい誰かの方が大切なのさ。
Believe me, the feeling's absolutely mutual.
信じられない。あなた正気？
どうも正気で本気みたいだな。ほんと、とんだ化け物だよこいつ。
I shrug, but I can't help it. That's the kind of human I became, and that's the kind of human I've repeatedly gone through these ordinary days as. I couldn't agree with the way of thinking right until the end, but after steadfastly following through with it until today, I can at least accept it just this once. Well, that's how it is. I really don't like it, but I'm okay with one guy like that being around.
とまあそういうわけなんで聖杯は壊させてくれないか。身勝手な願いはここで終わりにしよ
違う。それはあなたの考えじゃない。本当のあなたの願いじゃない。そんな見栄を張らないでよ。ここで止めたら本当のあなたは何一つ救われない。
That's right, you can't be saved.
う。本当の俺なんてもともといないんだがね。まあいい。じゃあこっちから聞くけど、あんたはなんでこの願いに固執するんだ？あんたが言うようにこっちにいれば救われるのか？
She doesn't reply. Naturally, if she was the kind of woman that could reply instantly here, she wouldn't be looking for salvation in the first place.
春はここにいる限り私はこうして居続けられる。
死なないだけだ。それは救いじゃない。
でもここは楽だから。あんな苦しいだけの外に比べたら少しは。
変わらないだろう。これでも長い付き合いだったんだ。あんたがどれだけ不器用かはよく知ってる。このまま続けばあんたは永遠に苦しみ続ける。
She distrusts herself. She feels guilty towards everyone around her. She can boast of specializing in a certain area more than anyone else, yet in the end, believes that she can't accomplish anything. The harder she trains, the harder she tries, the more she is forsaken by those around her. This sense of defeat is discarved on this woman's heart, never leaving her since the day she was born.
でも努力するしか道はない。孤立する無様さより努力をしない無様さの方があんたには耐えられない。そうしてあんたはずっと強者なのに一番そこにいるという屈辱に苛まれる。その克服はここでもできなかった。そうだろう。どんなに勝ち残り何人のマスターを倒したところであんたは一度も自分を誇りに思えなかった。
それはあなただって。
You can only hate. You can only devour all the things you love.
言っとくけどさ、どこであろうと無理なんだ。その惨めさは一生拭いされない。それは人間が死ぬまで抱えていくものだ。あんたのついてないところはその惨めさを預けられるやつに出会っちまったってことだ。
She really does have shitty luck with men. That priest is just a mirror that reflects and magnifies the burdens people trust with him with. He wasn't to blame. Her weakness in trying to obtain comfort by leaving the burden to him just ended up being the cause of her defeat. In the end.
その荷物は誰も持ってやることはできない。自分で抱えるしかない。人間に支え合うことができるのは荷物じゃなく、荷物の重さで倒れそうな体だけだ。
And unluckier still, this woman was an intensive training freak, so much that she could somehow support herself alone. That's why she's never had the experience of collapsing. She mistakenly believes that this burden, this anguish, is something that someone else will support for her.
苦悩は誰にも理解されない。それは内だろうと外だろうと同じことだ。 いいか、ここには救いなんてない。ただ苦しいだけだ。目を覚ませよマスター。あんたは死なない代わりにここで永遠に苦しみ続ける気か？
じゃあ何？あなたの言い分だと私は一生負け犬みたいに生きてくってこと？
みたいじゃなくてそのものだろう。あんたは騙し討ちされて負け犬のままここに引きこもったんだ。その念がある限りずっと悩み続けるさ。
もういい。裏切り者、裏切り者、裏切り者。ここがあなたの願いでしょ？なら私には苦しいだけでも構わない。どうせ同じことだもの。外の世界だって私にとっては。
The same. The woman says that continuing to live is hard.
それは違う。厳しいなんてそんなこと。お前は生まれた時から分かっていたんじゃないのか。
That way of being is what made me side with her. This woman is weak. I have no complaints about her abilities, but her existence itself is too fragile. Possessing doubts about one's existence is a fatal flaw. A mind that is on the verge of dying at any moment. A pessimism that might lead her to cutting her wrist if she weren't always bracing herself. However,
それでもここまでやってきたじゃないか。あんたは不器用で無様だったけど、ずっと少しでもマシな自分になろうと頑張ってきた。
pushing hard in spite of being weak, you struggle to improve yourself any way you could. You continue breathing despite the pain up until now. If you don't acknowledge your pride in that, then who else will?
やめてよ。あなたの考説はもう十分。自分のことを棚に上げて偉そうなこと言わないで。私のことなんて何も見えてないくせに、もうその目には何も映っていないくせに。
The woman shakes her head. She refuses to discard her wish. Like a child throwing a tantrum, believing that everything will really end if she loses the argument here.
目だけじゃない。自分のことさえ見えていない。私だって死にたくない。けど、あなたの未練は私の非じゃないはずよ。あなたはずっと遊んでいたかった。隙間なんて埋めたくなかった。自分が無に戻ると分かっていたから。なのに日常を回し続けたのはあなたにとって。
She really is dense. Like I keep saying, I'm bored of that stuff.
見えていないか。そういうあんたこそ俺がちゃんと見えているか。
影にしか見えない。もうあなたは何者でもなくなっている。
そうだ、それが正しい。間違えるなよマスター。この体、このキャラクターはエミやシローの殻をかぶったから生まれたもの。本来の俺は無だ。愛着も未練も持たない。もともと俺は何も思わないし何もしないものなんだぜ。
That's why it's of no concern to me if I return to the void.
嘘、嘘、嘘、嘘。騙されない。私は見捨てない。願いを叶え続けなさいアベンジャー。飽きてしまってもいい。何一つ新しい出来事が起きなくなってもいい。一人で戦い続けるというなら付き合う。まだ隙間はあるんでしょ。ならいい。小さいけれどまだ見えるものがあるのなら。
Keep this world turning. Keep going through those golden days. keep experiencing that which I never could obtain, yet should have originally been given to me.
しつこいな。悪いけどその願いは叶えられねえわ。無意味な時間はここまでにしようぜ。
I take a step forward. What a joke. In the end, Bizette didn't even try to stop me. In short, she is so angry because...
やめてよ。ここから出れば元の死体に戻るのに、ここにいればいくらでも楽しい時間を繰り返せるのに。